Welcome, I'm Yolanda, and I'm a certified astrologer and an animist. I practice a blend of traditional and modern astrology, but my approach is primarily psychological and spiritual. Today, I'm going to speak about Jupiter in Cancer and how to work with Jupiter to attract more beneficial experiences and gain favor. Jupiter moves into the sign of Cancer on June the 5th, that's Pacific time. And Jupiter is very comfortable in Cancer. Cancer is the sign of Jupiter's exaltation. Now, this means that Jupiter is treated like an honored guest by the moon because the moon rules Cancer. Now, you may be wondering, like I did for a really long time, why is Jupiter so happy, so comfortable in Cancer? I mean, Cancer is, after all, ruled by a very moody planet, the moon. What about the Cancerian landscape makes Jupiter feel at home, and especially why in a psychological and spiritual context? To answer this, we have to start with an understanding of Jupiter. And I just want to stop here quickly and just let you know that I could talk about Jupiter in Cancer for days. So we're just scratching the surface here. Okay, so let's get back to Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system, and astronomers believe he is probably the second oldest planet or being in our solar system. The Sun is older than Jupiter, but Jupiter is considered to be the oldest planet in our solar system and the largest. And at last count, at this time, he has 95 moons, but astronomers are still discovering more. So symbolically and astrologically speaking, we can see Jupiter as the principle or this planet of expansiveness and of growth, of largeness. But in astrology, Jupiter also rules or is associated with things like hope and faith and good fortune and wisdom. Now, wisdom is a big one, very important one, which we're going to come back to in this video. When the sun enters Cancer, it marks the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and winter in the southern hemisphere. And just think about the vibe, the energy of summer. Everything is alive, everything is ripening, everything is juicy. Now, this is all very attractive to Jupiter because Jupiter can work in this atmosphere of aliveness, of this vibrancy, of this, it's a welcoming atmosphere. And what happens during Cancer season is we all take the ideas that were generated during Gemini season, and we find a container or a home for our ideas. And in some sense, this also literally becomes this need for a home. We make a home for ourselves and for our loved ones, but also for our ideas. Now, this is an excellent time with Jupiter about to move into Cancer for our ideas to expand in the real world, right? In the physical realm. So Cancer is the most fertile sign in the zodiac, associated with motherhood and babies and family. And if you have Jupiter in Cancer in your birth chart, you probably have more than one child, or you probably want a large family. You enjoy feasting with your family. You enjoy reminiscing. You love talking about the past and reflecting on your heritage. And Jupiter makes it possible for you to grow or increase your lineage. Now, this is an important image, and try to keep this image in mind when you're thinking of Jupiter in Cancer. It's this long table of everyone just sitting around the table and feasting. And it reminds me of when I was growing up. My background, my parents were both Portuguese, and my grandparents were all Portuguese. And they had this, how can I say, not every Sunday, but at least once a month, they would invite all our neighbors over for the Sunday feast straight after Catholic Mass. We would all gather around this long table, and everyone would bring a dish, their favorite, something to contribute to this feast. And there was always this huge barbecue going on. And it was an all-day thing. It would start after Sunday Mass and it would end, when the moon was sailing over the rooftops, kind of thing. And that is very much what Jupiter in Cancer is all about. That's the vibe of Jupiter in Cancer. It's very inclusive, but also enjoys diversity. So remember this. Who can you call to your feast? Who do you want to sit at your table? That is very much Jupiter in Cancer. So the sign of Cancer is ruled by the ever-changing moon. And this ever-changing moon is, as you know, very tied in with the cycles of growth and, growth and decline, this ebb and flow. And Jupiter works well in that environment. I'm not going to go too much into it now, but Jupiter in traditional astrology is considered one of the chronocractors. Have I got that word right? I hope so. If not, I'm going to fix it later. And basically, that means that Jupiter and Saturn are both planets of time. They rule time. They're concerned with issues around time. And what happens with time? Wisdom increases with time. We all get, hopefully, a little bit wiser as the years go by. And that is ruled by Jupiter in particular, the growth of wisdom. Saturn has something to do with that too, but Saturn is more about discipline and learning your limitations, learning to limit yourself and focusing on what is yours to focus on. Knowing what belongs to you is very much a Saturn principle, whereas Jupiter is about creating and expanding those boundaries, going beyond. Okay, so now to the primary essence of Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer brings emotional growth. And what do we mean by emotional growth? This is the primary essence of Jupiter. Like I said earlier, I could talk about Jupiter in Cancer for days. There is much more to Jupiter in Cancer. But if you want to think of just one primary essence, one strong vibrational quality that comes to the fore now when he moves into Cancer, it's this, it's emotional growth. So what do we mean by emotional growth? We can see this as physically reaching out to others and offering our compassion and practicing empathy by being empathetic. We can also see this as growing the family, which increases our capacity to love, for example, welcoming a grandchild. Emotional growth can only occur if you're aware of your emotions and whether or not you are any good at regulating your emotions. Jupiter is the planet of wisdom, and so in Cancer, he teaches that positive emotions like interest and curiosity and empathy help cultivate wisdom. So remember that. So in closing, here's what you need to do to attract Jupiter's favor during his year long. He's going to be in Cancer from June 2025 until June 2026. This is what you can do. Now, 4 things I'm going to share with you now that you can do to attract Jupiter's favor over the coming year. You want to practice compassion for yourself and for others. I highly, highly recommend you take up meditation if you haven't already. I'm going to expand on this whole Jupiter in Cancer transit in another video, but I just wanted to do this kind of short intro today for you. But I highly recommend you take up meditation, as this will really help you in learning to be more compassionate towards yourself, but also it will help you regulate your emotions. The second thing you can do is I want you to express and share your gratitude for your family and your teachers and anyone you consider to be an important influence in your life. The third thing I want you to do, I want you to be curious It's so interesting to me how many young people, clients of mine, young clients of mine, have come to me recently and, complaining that they don't have many friends or they're struggling within their friendships. And it has, and when we expand, like when I ask them to expand on this, when we speak more about what the issues are, it always boils down, and this is lately, it always boils down to this lack of curiosity. Like they're afraid to ask questions. They don't want to feel, or they don't want to come across as if they are prying or being rude by asking too many questions. But curiosity is actually, it's a positive emotion, and that's when you show curiosity, but obviously genuine curiosity. It comes from a place of authenticity, like you really want to connect with someone and you're compassionate about it. You want to know more about someone. And they can pick up on that genuine, it's not, there's no hidden agenda. Then that curiosity build something. It's a bridge to something other. And in time, you'll have greater friendships, more connections. So don't be afraid to be curious. Reach out to those people who you are, genuinely are attracted to or want to know better and ask questions. Don't just like drop a comment kind of thing or just leave a little heart kind of thing. You want to ask questions because that is how you build relationships. And this is very much Jupiter and Cancer energy, this wanting to build and connect with people to create this safety, this safe container, but filled with people who share similar values, similar interests. Then the fourth thing you want to do is you want to track the moon and you want to live within her ebb and flow as she will rule Jupiter until June 2026. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please like this video if you found it helpful and do hit subscribe so that the robot overlords will notify you when I publish another video. Thank you.